The blue-skinned woman lay wounded among the twisted metal of her crashed ship. Her scales shimmered under the moonlight, despite the dark purple blood seeping from her side. The forest around her was silent, except for the occasional crackle of sparks from her damaged vessel. Katie Miller had been hiking when she saw the strange light tear across the night sky. She followed the trail of broken trees and scorched earth until she found the crash site. At first, she thought it was just debris, but then she saw movement. She crept forward slowly, careful not to make sudden noises. The strange form was clearly alive and clearly not human. The alien woman hissed when Katie approached. Her six-fingered hand clutched a strange device that glowed. Faintly, Katie raised her hands to show she meant no harm. Her heart pounded in her chest, but years of working as a nurse in emergency rooms had taught her to stay calm in shocking situations. "I can help you," said Katie slowly. Her medical training kicked in as she assessed the injuries from a distance. The alien had a humanoid form with 2 arms and 2 legs, but her anatomy was clearly different. Her skin was a deep blue with a pattern of lighter scales running along her arms. The 4 violet eyes studying Katie warily were set in a face that was almost human, but with sharper features and no visible ears. The alien spoke, her voice like wind chimes in a summer breeze. "Stay away, human. Your kind are known as destroyers. Our reports say you kill what you do not understand." Her words were perfect English, though her mouth moved strangely around the sounds. Katie shook her head as she carefully removed her backpack. "I just want to help," she said as she took out her first aid kit. "I am a healer, a nurse. This is what I do." She held up gauze and antiseptic to show her intentions. "I promise I will not harm you." The alien watched with those strange eyes as Katie approached slowly. She seemed to be weighing her options. But the pool of purple blood growing beneath her suggested she had little choice. She finally lowered the glowing device and nodded. Once Katie worked methodically, cleaning the worst of the wounds, which appeared to be a deep gash along the alien's side and another across her leg. The blood was thicker than human blood and had a faint scent like cinnamon. The alien winced but made no sound as Katie applied antiseptic and wrapped the injuries. "Why are you saving me? Human?" the alien finally asked as Katie finished securing the bandage. "Your people would dissect me if they knew I was here. Your governments would use me to gain advantage over each other." Katie smiled gently as she packed up her supplies. "Because you need help. And that is what my people do for those in need. We help not all of us, but many of us." She offered a water bottle, which the alien examined before taking a small sip. The alien seemed confused by this answer. Her head tilted slightly, the movement bird-like and quick. Her species had records of humans being violent territorial creatures. The Galactic Council had deemed Earth too dangerous for contact, yet here was this small human tending to her wounds with gentle hands, defying everything she had been told about this species. "My ship cannot be repaired without tools," the alien said finally. "My people will not know I am stranded for many days." Katie considered the situation. There was no way she could leave this being alone, injured in the woods. But taking her somewhere public was not an option either. "I have a cabin," she said. "It's not far from here, about an hour walk. You can stay there until you heal and we figure out what to do." The alien studied her for a long moment before nodding. "I accept your offer, human. But know that my species is not without defenses if you betray me." One of her hands moved to a small object at her waist. Katie nodded in understanding. "I don't blame you for being cautious, but I promise you are safe with me. My name is Katie Miller." She pointed to herself, then gestured to the alien. "I am." The alien began making a series of musical sounds that Katie had no hope of reproducing. "Maybe I could call you something else," Katie suggested. "Something I can pronounce." The alien considered this. "In my language, I am called." She made a shorter sound like bells chiming. "But you may call me." She thought for a moment. "Your word, Lily, is close enough." Katie smiled. "Lily, it is. Can you walk, or do you need help?" It took effort, but with Katie's support, Lily was able to stand. She was taller than Katie by almost a foot and moved with a strange grace. Despite her injuries, Katie helped gather a few items from the ship that Lily indicated were important, including a small metal cube and the device she had been holding. When Katie found her, they covered the worst of the wreckage with branches and leaves. Katie knew they would need to return to salvage more. But for now, the priority was getting Lily to safety. Thankfully, the crash site was deep in the national forest, away from regular hiking trails. They had time before anyone else might stumble upon it. The walk to the cabin was slow and difficult. Lily needed to rest often and clearly found Earth's gravity challenging. Still, she persevered, asking questions about the forest they passed through. "What are those tiny moving creatures?" Katie explained about squirrels and chipmunks. "Those tall plants with extended limbs." "Trees," Katie told her. The concept of trees seemed to fascinate Lily. "On my world, plants do not grow so tall," she explained. "They spread wide instead, covering the ground with colors." When they finally reached the small cabin, Katie felt a wave of relief. It had been her grandfather's hunting cabin, and when she inherited it, she had renovated it into a personal retreat. It was off-grid with solar power, a well for water, and completely private. The perfect place to hide an alien. Lily paused at the threshold, examining the wooden structure with curiosity. "This is made from the tall plants," she observed. "The trees, yes," Katie confirmed. "We use them to build many things." Inside, the cabin was simple but comfortable. A main room with a small kitchen area, a couch, a fireplace, and bookshelves, a bathroom with a shower, and a single bedroom. The large windows looked out over the forest and the small clearing where Katie had planted a garden. Lily moved carefully around the space, touching objects and asking about them. Her curiosity seemed endless despite her injuries. She was particularly fascinated by Katie's books, running her six-fingered hands over the pages. "We have not used physical information storage for many generations," she explained. Katie prepared a simple meal of soup and bread. Lily sniffed each item carefully before tasting. She could eat most of Katie's food, she discovered, though some flavors were too strong for her. The concept of cooking food also seemed novel to her. "My people consume nutrition in its natural state," she explained as night fell. Katie made up the couch for herself, insisting that Lily take the bed. The alien was reluctant but eventually agreed when Katie pointed out that her injuries needed proper rest. "You have been kind beyond reason," Lily said as she settled onto the bed. "My people were wrong about humans. At least they were wrong about some humans." Katie smiled as she turned down the lights. "Get some rest," she said. "Tomorrow we can figure out our next steps." That night, Katie lay awake on the couch, her mind racing. She had an alien in her cabin. An actual being from another world. Everything she thought she knew about the universe had changed in a single day, and somehow she had become responsible for this visitor's safety. She wondered what would happen when Lily's people came looking for her. Would they be as peaceful as Lily? Or would they see humans as a threat? She had no answers, only questions, but one thing was certain. Her life would never be the same. Katie woke to the smell of something burning. She jumped up from the couch and rushed to the kitchen where Lily stood bewildered in front of the toaster. Small flames rose from the device as the alien backed away cautiously. "I was attempting to prepare morning nutrition," Lily explained. "I observed your actions yesterday, but the heating unit became too hot." Katie quickly unplugged the toaster and doused the small flames with water. She couldn't help but laugh at the situation. "Breakfast might be a bit more complicated than you thought," she said. "Maybe we should start with something simpler." Over the next few days, they fell into a routine. Katie would prepare meals while Lily explained aspects of her culture and technology. The alien was a scientist. She revealed, a xenobiologist studying emerging intelligent species. Her mission had been purely observational, monitoring Earth's development from orbit when her ship experienced an unexpected malfunction. "I was not supposed to make contact," Lily admitted, as they sat on the cabin porch watching birds flit between trees. "The Galactic Council has strict rules about interfacing with developing worlds, and your world is classified as particularly dangerous." Katie raised an eyebrow. "Dangerous? We haven't even left our solar system." Yet Lily made a sound like gentle laughter. "It is not your technology that concerns the Council. It is your nature." You are unusually adaptive and surprisingly aggressive when threatened, yet also remarkably empathetic and cooperative. This combination is rare and unpredictable. The Council prefers predictability. As Lily's wounds healed, she grew stronger and more mobile. She began helping Katie with daily tasks, learning human customs and behaviors. Her 4 eyes missed, nothing observing and analyzing everything from how Katie brushed her teeth to how she organized her books. "I need to return to my ship," Lily said on the 5th day. "There are components I must retrieve before your authorities discover the crash. Have technology that cannot fall into human hands. Not because we wish to withhold it, but because without proper understanding, it could be dangerous." Katie nodded, understanding the concern. They hiked back to the crash site, moving carefully to avoid being seen. The wreckage looked smaller in daylight, scattered across a clearing where the ship had first hit, before sliding into the trees. Lily moved methodically through the debris, gathering small devices and crystals that she placed in a bag Katie had brought. "This was only a scout vessel," Lily explained as she worked, "much smaller than our research ships. It was designed for atmospheric entry, but the guidance systems failed. I was fortunate to survive the crash." Katie helped as best she could, following Lily's instructions on which pieces to collect and which to leave. The technology was unlike anything she had seen. Components that seemed to shift color when touched, materials lighter than they should be for their size, and strange symbols that glowed faintly. "What will your people do when they realize you're missing?" Katie asked as they finished gathering the salvageable parts. Lily paused her movements. "They will search, but the malfunction in my ship damaged the tracking beacon. They will not know exactly where to look. It could be many days, perhaps weeks, before they locate me." "And what about me?" Katie asked softly. "When they find you, will they, she struggled to find the words. "Will they erase my memory?" "Take me for study," Lily turned all 4 eyes to Katie. "I do not know," she answered honestly. "The protocols are clear. Any human with knowledge of us should be memory wiped at minimum. Some would advocate for taking specimens." Her 6-fingered hand reached out hesitantly before resting on Katie's arm. "But I would speak for you. I would tell them how you helped me when you could have harmed me." They returned to the cabin with their salvage. Lily began working immediately, using tools from her ship to assemble what Katie recognized as some kind of communication device. "I can send a basic signal," she explained, "but it will take time to reach my people." As days passed, they shared more of their worlds with each other. Katie showed Lily movies and music books and art. Lily was particularly moved by classical music. "The mathematics of it," she said, closing all 4 eyes as she listened to Beethoven. "It speaks to something universal." In turn, Lily described her homeworld, a planet with 2 moons and rings like Saturn, where the dominant species had evolved from semi-aquatic ancestors. She told Katie about cities built both above and below vast oceans, about creatures that dwarfed Earth's blue whales, and technology that could harness the energy of stars. She created small holograms using one of her devices, showing Katie visions of her world. The images were breathtaking landscapes of purple mountains and golden seas, floating cities that drifted on air currents, and beings of all shapes and sizes coexisting in harmony. "The galactic community has 17 primary species," Lily explained, with many more associate members. "All achieve space travel independently, all agreed to the basic tenets of cooperation and non-interference with developing worlds." "And humans?" Katie asked. "Are we close to being ready to join?" Lily hesitated. "Your technology is advancing quickly, but your social development is uneven. Some of your nations have achieved remarkable harmony, while others remain fractured by conflict. The Council values stability above." All 2 weeks after the crash, they were sitting by the fireplace, Katie reading aloud from a novel, while Lily listened, fascinated by the concept of fiction, when suddenly Lily's communication device began to pulse with soft blue light. "They have received my signal." Lily said, her voice a mixture of relief and something that sounded like regret. "A rescue ship will be dispatched. They will arrive within 3 of your days." Katie felt a strange hollowness in her chest. Of course she had known this day would come. Lily couldn't stay hidden in her cabin forever. But in their time together she had grown fond of the alien, and the thought of her leaving created an unexpected sadness. "What happens now?" she asked. Lily moved to sit beside Katie on the couch. "They will come for me." And then her 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "I am supposed to recommend complete memory extraction for any human with knowledge of us. But you don't have to decide now," Katie said. "But whatever happens, I'm glad I found you that night." She meant it. Despite the fear and uncertainty, meeting Lily had been the most extraordinary experience of her life. The next day they hiked to a nearby lake. Lily had expressed curiosity about large bodies of water, and Katie thought the peaceful setting would be good for them both. The alien stood at the shore, staring out at the sparkling water with wonder. "On my world, the lakes are green," she said, "because of the mineral content. But this," she gestured at the blue expanse, "this is like looking at the sky from both sides." Katie watched as Lily carefully waded into the shallows, her blue skin almost matching the water. Her movements were cautious but filled with joy. It struck Katie then how similar they were despite their obvious differences. Both curious, both seeking to understand the universe, both capable of wonder and friendship. That night, as they sat under the stars, Lily asked a question that caught Katie by surprise. "If you could leave Earth and see the galaxy, would you?" Katie looked up at the night sky, thinking about the countless worlds Lily had described to her. Worlds she would never see. "Unless I accept your offer," she realized. "There is a possibility," Lily said hesitantly. "It is forbidden, but not without precedent. Some researchers have taken humans as assistants officially for study, but in reality," her voice trailed off. "You mean I could go with you?" Katie felt her heart race at the thought it would mean leaving everything behind. Lily warned, "Your family, your friends, your world. You would not be able to return for many cycles of your son. Perhaps never. And the council would not approve. You would need to be hidden at first." Katie thought about her life on Earth. She had friends, but no close family since her grandparents had passed. Her nursing job could be filled by someone else. Her cabin was her only real possession. And what was she giving up compared to what she might gain? To see other worlds, to meet other species, to learn things no human had ever known. "I need time to think," she said finally. Of course, Lily agreed. "We still have 2 days before the ship arrives, but whatever you decide, know that you have changed how I see humans. I will tell my people that the council is wrong about your kind, that you are ready for more than distant observation, that at least some of you deserve to know you are not alone in the universe." The last full day before the rescue ship was due to arrive, Katie woke early. She found Lily outside the cabin, standing perfectly still in the morning mist. Her blue form seemed to glow softly in the dawn light, all 4 eyes fixed on the rising sun. "It is different from my home star," Lily said without turning. "Your sun is younger, fiercer. The light has a different quality. It makes your plants grow tall and strong." Katie joined her, watching the golden light filter through the trees. She had made her decision during the night after hours of contemplation. "I'm coming with you," she said simply. "If you'll have me." All 4 of Lily's eyes blinked in sequence, her version of surprise. "You understand what this means? The risks?" Katie nodded. "I do, but how could I not go? When would another human ever get this chance?" She gestured to the forest around them. "Earth will always be here, but this opportunity won't." Lily made a sound like chiming bells, her species' version of laughter. "You are proving my theory about humans. Your curiosity outweighs your caution. This is why my people find yours fascinating and frightening." They spent the day preparing. Katie packed only essential items, clothes, medications, and a few personal mementos. She wrote several letters, one to her closest friend explaining that she was leaving for an extended trip abroad, another to her employer resigning her position, and a third to be sent to authorities if anyone came looking for her, explaining that she had chosen to go off-grid for personal reasons. None mentioned Lily or space travel, of course. The alien watched these preparations with interest. The concept of physical messages written on paper seemed to amuse her. On my world, all communication is either direct, through thought transference devices, or stored in communal data clouds. The idea of keeping information so private is unusual. Do you have personal belongings on your world? Katie asked as she carefully packed a photo of her grandparents. Lily considered. We keep fewer physical items. Our homes are more collective and we move between them based on function and need. But yes, we have tokens of significance. She touched a small pendant around her neck. This contains memories of my birthing group, what you might call family. That night they sat by the fire drinking tea, a beverage Lily had grown particularly fond of, and finalizing their plans. The rescue ship would land near the original crash site at dawn. Lily had sent coordinates and clearance codes to ensure the rescue team would come prepared for a peaceful extraction. They will expect me to be alone, Lily warned. They will have memory wipe equipment as standard protocol when landing on worlds like yours. I must convince them to accept you as a specimen for study. At least initially, Katie felt a flutter of anxiety at the word specimen but pushed it aside. This was her choice. Whatever happened, it would be worth it to see the stars. What is your world called? She asked, suddenly realizing she had never asked this basic question. Lily made a series of musical notes, then smiled at Katie's expression. In your language, the closest would be harmony, she translated, though much of the meaning is lost. Tell me about your family, Katie requested, wanting to know more about the life she would be entering. Lily explained that her species reproduced in groups of 3, combining genetic material to create offspring who were raised communally. My birthing group consists of 12 individuals, she said. Though I am closest to the 3 who contributed to my creation, we do not have your concept of mother or father, but rather contributors and nurturers. As night deepened, Katie found herself growing nervous about the coming day, sensing her anxiety. Lily retrieved a small device from her salvaged equipment. This will help you rest, she explained. It creates a field that calms neural activity. My people use it for meditation. The device emitted a soft humming that made Katie's eyelids grow heavy. Her worries seemed to float away, replaced by a gentle calm. Within minutes, she was asleep, dreaming of distant worlds. Morning came too quickly. Katie woke to find Lily already dressed in what appeared to be a uniform of sorts, a fitted garment that shifted colors slightly with her movements. It looked both organic and technological. It is time, Lily said. The ship approaches. They hike to the crash site in silence, the forest peaceful around them. Birds sang in the trees, unaware that their world was about to receive visitors from beyond the stars. Katie felt strangely calm now that the moment had arrived. Whatever happened, she was ready. They reached the clearing just as the sky began to lighten. Stand here, Lily instructed. Positioning, Katie beside her. Follow my lead and try not to show fear. They respond to emotional states. The air began to vibrate with a low hum that Katie felt more than heard. A faint distortion appeared in the air above the clearing, growing stronger until it seemed the sky itself was bending. Then with a flash of blue light, a ship appeared. It was smaller than Katie had expected, perhaps the size of a city bus, but shaped like a teardrop, with no visible windows or doors. Its surface rippled with patterns of light that seemed to flow across it like water. The ship hovered silently a few feet above the ground. Lily raised her hands in a formal gesture and spoke in her musical language. The ship's surface shifted and a section melted away, revealing an opening. 3 figures emerged, tall and blue-skinned like Lily, but with subtle differences in their features and coloring. The tallest of the 3 stepped forward, addressing Lily in their shared language. The exchange sounded tense to Katie, though. She could not understand a word. The newcomer gestures toward her several times, clearly unhappy with her presence. Lily spoke firmly, pointing to Katie, then to herself, making what seemed to be an impassioned argument. The 3 visitors conferred among themselves, their movements agitated. Finally, the leader turned to Katie, studying her with all 4 eyes. You understand our speech, human, a voice said in her mind, though the alien's mouth did not move. No, Katie replied aloud. I only speak English, and a little Spanish. The alien tilted its head. You have aided our researcher at great personal risk. This is unexpected behavior based on our understanding of your species. I did what anyone would do, Katie said. She needed help. The alien made a sound. That might have been amusement, no. Many of your kind would not. The tall figure turned to Lily, speaking again in their language. After a lengthy exchange, Lily turned to Katie. They are reluctant, she explained. But they have agreed to take you as a research subject. It is the best I could negotiate. For now. Once we are off-world and I can speak with the Science Council, I may be able to improve your status. Katie nodded, understanding. The important thing was getting off Earth. The rest could be worked out later. Thank you, she said to the alien visitors. One of them approached her holding a small device. This will prepare you for transit. It will not harm you, but it will render you unconscious. For the journey. Katie looked at Lily, who nodded, in reassurance. It's normal procedure for all non-crewed passengers. Taking a deep breath, Katie closed her eyes as the device was pressed against her neck. There was a brief sensation of warmth, then darkness. She awoke in a strange room. The walls were a soft pearl color that seemed to glow from within. There was no visible source of light, yet the room was perfectly illuminated. She lay on what seemed to be a bed, though it conformed to her body like water that had somehow been made solid. Lily sat nearby, monitoring a floating display of shifting symbols. When she noticed Katie was awake, she dismissed the display with a gesture. How do you feel? She asked. Katie took stock of herself, surprisingly good. She decided. No nausea or disorientation. How long was I out? 3 of your Earth days, Lily replied. We are now in orbit around what you call Saturn. The ship needed to reach a safe distance before activating the main drive. Katie sat up abruptly. We're in space. She gasped. Actually, in space. Lily made her chiming laugh. Yes. We will remain in your solar system for another day while the research team collects final data. Then we journey to the nearest waypoint station. Looking around the room, Katie noticed there were no windows. Where can I see? Katie asked. Where can I see Earth from space? Lily helped her stand, guiding her to what appeared to be a solid wall. She waved her hand, and the wall became transparent, revealing the vastness of space. Katie gasped as she saw the ringed beauty of Saturn filling half the view, and in the distance a small blue marble Earth, her home. It looked so small, she whispered, placing her hand against the transparent barrier. So fragile. All worlds are when viewed from afar, Lily said, yet they contain such complexity, such wonder. Katie felt tears form in her eyes at the beauty of it all. She had left everything she knew behind, but gaining this moment, this perspective made it worthwhile. The ship commander wishes to speak with you, Lily said after allowing Katie some time to absorb the view. He has questions about your decision to leave your world. Katie turned from the window, ready to face whatever came next. She was no longer just a human from Earth. Now she was a traveler among the stars, and that made all the difference. The ship commander was taller than Lily, with darker blue skin and elaborate markings running along his arms. His name was impossible for Katie to pronounce, so he allowed her to call him Orion after she explained the Earth constellation. You have made an unprecedented choice, human. He said, his thoughts appearing in her mind while Lily translated his actual speech. Katie had learned this was a temporary measure until she could receive a neural translator implant. Most humans fear the unknown, yet you embrace it. Katie sat across from him in what appeared to be a command center. The room was circular, with several aliens working at stations that consisted of light and motion rather than physical controls. I was afraid, she admitted. But curiosity is stronger than fear. At least for me. She looked at the displays around her, showing star patterns she did not recognize. My people have always looked to the sky and wondered, what would be the point of all our wondering if we refused the chance? When it came, Orion studied her with all 4 eyes. The council will not be pleased with this arrangement, he said. A human with full knowledge of our existence, traveling freely among our worlds. It violates our most basic protocols. But it has happened. Before Katie said, recalling what Lily had told her, "There have been other humans brought to your worlds." His inner eyelids flickered. What Katie had learned was a sign of surprise. "You are well informed. The others were taken as specimens for controlled study. They did not move freely among us. Then perhaps it's time for a change." Katie suggested, meeting his gaze. "My world is divided in many ways, but one thing most of us share is the desire to know we are not alone in the universe. Hiding from us only makes first contact more shocking when it eventually comes." The commander made a sound that the translator did not interpret before responding. "Your perspective is noted. The Science Council will make the final determination when we reach the waypoint." Station life aboard the ship settled into a routine. Katie was given quarters near Lily's and freedom to move around certain areas. She spent hours in what she called the observation deck, a room where all walls could become transparent, showing the vastness of space. They passed Jupiter, its massive storms swirling like artwork on a cosmic scale, and then left the plane of the solar system entirely. The crew regarded her with a mixture of curiosity and caution. Some avoided her entirely, while others sought her out, asking questions about Earth and human behavior. She became particularly friendly with a crew member named Vela, who worked in what seemed to be a botanical lab growing strange plants in glowing containers. "Your species consumes such a limited range of nutrients," Vela told her while showing Katie edible plants she might be able to digest. "These grow on most habitable worlds." She handed Katie something that looked like a blue apple but tasted like honey and cinnamon. Katie learned that the ship had a crew of 22, and that they had been on a year-long mission studying multiple systems before Lily's distress call diverted them. She also discovered that not everyone agreed with the commander's decision to bring her aboard. Some believe humans are too volatile for integration. One crew member told her their skin was a paler blue than the others, and they had only 3 eyes, due to what Lily explained was a genetic variation. "Your wars, your environmental destruction, your rapid technological development without corresponding ethical growth, all concerning indicators," but Katie found allies too, particularly among the science team who saw her as a valuable research opportunity. A willing study subject was far more useful than one taken by force. And she was eager to learn, sharing everything she could about human culture and biology in exchange for knowledge about their species. Lily remained her strongest advocate. The xenobiologist had risked much by bringing Katie aboard. Katie learned. When they reached the waypoint station, Lily would face a review board that could end her research career. "You knew the consequences," Katie said when Lily explained this during a quiet moment in the ship's garden area where plants from a dozen worlds grew in careful harmony. "Yet you still helped me." Why? Lily was silent for a moment before responding. "Because you showed me that my people's understanding of humans was flawed. You helped me when I was vulnerable, expecting nothing in return. That single act challenged decades of observational data. And if we were wrong about humans, what else might we be wrong about?" The ship dropped out of what Lily called flow space, near a small reddish star Katie had never seen before. A massive structure orbited the star, not a planet, but something constructed. A ring nearly the diameter of Earth, but only a few kilometers thick. It glittered with lights and movement. "The waypoint station," Lily explained as they observed from the viewing room. "It serves as a hub for 17 systems. Some 10 million beings live aboard it permanently, with another 20 million passing through in a standard cycle." Katie stared in awe, unable to fully comprehend the scale of what she was seeing. All those lives, all those stories, all those different beings, and she would be the first human to walk among them. The ship docked at the station with a gentle shudder. Katie felt a momentary adjustment as the station's artificial gravity took hold, slightly stronger than Earth's. The commander summoned her to the exit bay where Lily waited, looking concerned. "The Science Council has representatives here," Lily explained. "They wish to interview you immediately before allowing you further access to the station." She hesitated, her scales shifting color slightly with emotion. "I cannot accompany you for this assessment. It must be unbiased." Katie felt a flutter of anxiety but nodded in understanding. This was always part of the agreement. "It'll be fine," she assured Lily with more confidence than she felt. Two station security officers met her at the airlock. Their species was different from Lily's, shorter with gray skin and 6 limbs. They escorted her through gleaming corridors that curved, gently upward following the station's ring shape. Katie tried not to stare at the other beings. They passed creatures of all descriptions moving with purpose. Some glanced at her with obvious curiosity or alarm. The assessment chamber was a plain room, with a single chair in the center. 3 beings waited for her, each different from any species she had seen before. One appeared to be made of shifting crystal. Another was tall and insect-like, while the third was small and furry with enormous eyes. Human, the crystalline being said, its voice somehow resonating in the air. "I am Council Assessor Vran. These are my colleagues." She indicated the other 2. "We will determine your disposition." The questioning lasted hours. They asked about Earth's governments, religions, wars, technological development, and environmental state. They seemed particularly interested in Katie's personal history and her decision to leave Earth. "What do you hope to gain from this unprecedented situation?" the insectoid assessor asked, understanding. Katie replied, "Knowledge, friendship." She thought for a moment. "The chance to be a bridge between my world and yours when the time comes for open contact." The furry assessor made a trilling sound. "You assume such contact is inevitable?" "It is," Katie said, with conviction. "Either by your choice or by our development, Earth will join the galactic community eventually. Wouldn't it be better to have humans who understand your ways, who can help ease that transition?" The assessors conferred among themselves, in a language her temporary translator could not decipher. Finally, Vran addressed her again. "You present an interesting case, human, the crystalline being shifted, forming new facets that caught the light. Your presence here violates our protocols. Yet, it also presents an opportunity. We will allow you limited access to the station while we consult with the full council. You will be assigned quarters and an escort. You are not to reveal sensitive technology or information about Earth to any beings you encounter." Katie felt relief wash over her. She had passed at least the first test. "Thank you," she said. "I understand the restrictions." When she was escorted back to the ship dock, Lily was waiting. Her scales brightened visibly when she saw Katie. "I monitored the decision," she said. "You did well. Few beings face the assessors so directly." "What happens now?" Katie asked as they walked along a promenade that offered views of the stars beyond the station. "Now," Lily said, "we wait for the council's full decision. In the meantime, I will show you wonders." The Waypoint Station was a marvel of engineering and cooperation, Katie soon discovered. In the week following her initial assessment, Lily showed her as much of it as her restricted status allowed. The central promenade ran the entire circumference of the ring, a distance that would take days to walk. Markets, parks, research facilities, and residential zones filled the massive structure. Katie tried to blend in, though it was impossible. Her basic anatomy marked her as unusual, even among the diverse beings that populated the station. She received a permanent translator, a small device implanted behind her ear that converted any language into something her brain could understand. It also helped her speak in a way others could comprehend, though some concepts remained difficult to translate. The gardens were her favorite place. Located on the outer edge of the ring, they offered views of open space through transparent walls. Plants from hundreds of worlds grew in carefully maintained environments, creating a living museum of galactic botany. "This one reminds me of roses," Katie said, touching a delicate silver flower that seemed to shimmer with its own light. Lily, who had been assigned as her official guide, nodded. "These grow on ocean platforms, in the Vega system. They absorb starlight and release it slowly during the long nights." They were examining a display of aquatic plants when a station official approached Lily. "The council's decision has been reached," the official said. "You and the human are summoned." Katie felt her heart rate increase. This was the moment that would determine her future. Would she be allowed to remain among the stars? Or would they send her back to Earth, perhaps with her memories altered? She followed Lily through the station's corridors to a formal chamber where 7 council members waited. The full council rarely convened in person. Lily had explained. They represented the oldest and most advanced species in this region of the galaxy. Their decisions shaped policy for hundreds of worlds. The primary speaker, a tall being with feather-like appendages, addressed them. Your case has created significant debate. Human. It stands against centuries of protocol regarding developing worlds. Some advocate for your immediate return to Earth with memory adjustment. Others see potential value in your presence as a cultural intermediary. She paused. The majority have decided on a compromise. Katie held her breath, waiting. You will be granted provisional citizen status, the speaker continued, with restrictions. You may not return to Earth for a minimum of 5 standard cycles. You may not share advanced technology with other humans. You will undergo regular evaluation of your integration. If these terms are acceptable, you will be assigned an educational path and residence. Katie felt a wave of emotion rush through her. I accept, she said simply. A second council member spoke. Their skin rippled with colors as they addressed Lily. And you, researcher, you violated protocols, bringing a human from a restricted world. Yet your observations and research have proven valuable. The council's decision is probation. You will continue your work with the human as your assistant, documenting the integration process. Lily lowered her head in a gesture of acceptance. Thank you, honored ones. The formal proceedings concluded quickly. After that, events moved at a whirlwind pace. Katie was assigned quarters in the research district near Lily's workspace. She began intensive education in galactic history, languages, mathematics, and sciences. She discovered her human perspective was sometimes an advantage, offering insights that surprised her instructors. What fascinates us about humans, one of her teachers told her, is your adaptability. Most species evolve for specific environments and struggle outside them, but humans, you adjust, you survive. You find ways to thrive even in hostile conditions. Katie found the adjustment challenging in many ways. The food, though modified for her physiology, never quite satisfied her longing for Earth cuisine. The artificial day-night cycle of the station felt slightly wrong. The gravity set to a galactic standard was just enough stronger than Earth's to make her tired at first. She missed rain and wind, and the sounds of birds, but the wonders far outweighed the challenges. She learned to use technology that seemed like magic tools that could create matter from energy, medical devices that could heal almost any injury, and communication systems that allowed instant connection across vast distances. She made friends among the station's permanent residents, particularly a young researcher named Mira, whose species evolved on a world similar to Earth, though with higher gravity. Mira was fascinated by human culture and in exchange taught Katie games played across the galaxy. 6 months after her arrival, Katie was permitted to travel beyond the station. Lily had been assigned a research mission to a nearby system with an emerging sentient species. Katie would serve as her assistant. The parallels to Earth's situation were not lost on her. Their ship was small but comfortable, designed for a crew of 4. They would be gone for 3 months, cataloging the development of the world's dominant species, beings that resembled something between lizards and birds who had just discovered basic metallurgy as they prepared for departure. Katie stood on the observation deck watching the waypoint station grow smaller. The massive ring glittered against the darkness of space, a testament to what cooperation between different beings could achieve. Lily joined her, carrying what appeared to be a small plant in a transparent container. A gift, she said, offering it to Katie. It is from my home world. A memory, flower. We give them to mark significant journeys. The plant had delicate blue petals that seemed to glow from within, changing subtly as Katie watched. When she touched one of the petals gently, a sense of peace washed over her. It responds to emotional states, Lily explained. It will grow as you do, recording your experiences in its patterns. A living journal of your time among the stars. Katie felt tears form in her eyes. It is beautiful. Thank you. As their ship pulled away from the station, Katie reflected on the journey that had brought her here. It had begun with a simple choice to help someone in need, an injured being who crashed near her cabin. That one decision had changed everything, leading her to this moment. Standing at the threshold of the unknown, do you ever regret it? Lily asked, seeming to sense her thoughts. Leaving your world behind. Katie looked out at the stars, bright and clear, without an atmosphere to dim them. Beyond them lay worlds she would soon see, life forms she would meet, and knowledge no human had ever gained. No, she said, I miss Earth, I always will, but this. She gestured at the vista before them. This is worth everything. 2 years later, Katie stood before the full council again. This time not as an anomaly to be judged, but as a respected researcher. Her work with Lily had produced valuable insights into species development and first contact protocols. She had visited 17 worlds and learned 9 languages. We have a proposal. The council leader said one Katie had come to know well during her time on the station. Earth approaches a critical development phase. Their technology advances rapidly, particularly in space exploration. Within decades, they will achieve capabilities that make isolation impossible. We must prepare for eventual contact. Katie nodded, understanding where this was heading. You want me to help create the protocol? Exactly. The counselor confirmed. You know both worlds. You understand the challenges and opportunities. A small team will be formed under your guidance to develop a comprehensive plan for Earth's integration. It was a tremendous responsibility, Katie knew. The potential for misunderstanding was vast. Humanity might react with fear or aggression if contact was handled poorly. Yet the benefits of peaceful integration were equally immense. I accept, she said. But I have one condition. The council leader tilted their head, indicating she should continue. When the time comes, I want to be part of the first official delegation. To Earth, I want to go home, even if only for a short time, to show my people that the stars hold friends, not enemies. There was a brief discussion among the council members before the leader responded. Acceptable. But that time is not yet near. Perhaps a decade, perhaps more. We must be certain your world is ready. Katie smiled. That gives me time to prepare, she said. Later that evening, she stood in her quarters looking at the memory flower Lily had given her 2 years before. It had grown into a complex, beautiful plant, its petals containing swirling patterns of light that shifted with her moods. She touched it gently, thinking of Earth, of the cabin in the woods, and the night she had found Lily wounded in the crash. The flower brightened in response to her thoughts, its light a reminder that the greatest journeys often begin with simple kindness, and sometimes saving someone else means saving yourself, in ways you never expected. Somewhere in the vastness of space, a small blue planet turned its people, still unaware that one of their own moved among the stars, creating connections that would someday bridge the gulf between worlds. Katie Miller, once a nurse from Earth, now a citizen of the galaxy, looked toward the future with hope, knowing that when humanity finally reached for the stars, friendly hands would reach back,